Let's go straight to the Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, Simon Birmingham, and we will sign off this letter that was, start off with this letter, I should say, signed by our former living Australian Prime Minister, Simon, except one, Paul Keating, so it was enough to bring Malcolm Turnbull and Tony Abbott together, but not everyone in the Labor Party.
Well, look, that's right. It's a reminder of some of the differences we're seeing on the Labor side, and it's deeply unfortunate because at present we need everybody to be firmly reminded of the genesis of these attacks, and that is, of course, Hamas, a terrorist organisation, on October 7, killing more Jews in a single day than at any time since the Holocaust. And so while there are indeed enormous tragedies that continue to unfold in terms of the loss of innocent lives, people do really need to keep in perspective the cause of these events. And this letter, this powerful statement sent by 6 of our living former Prime Ministers, Labor and Liberal, is a clear-cut reminder that Hamas as a terrorist organisation undertook these terrorist atrocities, caused such huge loss of life, and if left without being brought under control, would pose a continued threat to Israel in the future, which is why this is not just about Israel's right to self-defence, but their right to remove Hamas and disable them from being a future threat.
Still no call to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as far as I'm aware of. What do you make of that nearly 3 weeks in, Simon?
Well, look, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has plenty on his plate, but it is surprising and disappointing that the requested call from Australia has not been taken. Now, the Albanese government made a number of unilateral policy shifts in relation to Israel over their first 12 months or so in office. These didn't do much to warm the relationship, but I urge the Albanese government to make sure they remain firm and in lockstep on this issue, that even with the divisions or splinters in the Labor Party from Paul Keating or from different ministers, they've got to be solid and firm about Israel's right to self-defence and its right to remove Hamas as a threat in the future.
Your opponent, Penny Wong, she said yesterday that Israel runs the risk of isolating itself from the international community if the civilian death toll climbs too high in Gaza. Is that something that you agree with?
Well, this is why it's so critical and why the former Prime Minister's letter matters. We have to, Penny Wong, Kevin Rudd, Anthony Albanese, and all on our side as well, need to be making sure that in our statements we are being crystal clear about the causes and genesis of this, which is Hamas as a terrorist organisation, and a reminder of those atrocities from October 7. None of us wish to see the loss of innocent lives, and the loss of an innocent Palestinian life matters just as much as the loss of an innocent Jewish life, and we grieve and mourn for all of those affected. But Hamas has to be removed from being an ongoing threat to innocent lives, an ongoing destabiliser in the Middle East, and of course not just a threat to Israel and the Jewish population there, but Hamas is a constant threat to the Palestinian population in Gaza too. They hide behind innocent civilians. They use people as human shields, hospitals as shields, schools as shields, and they do not represent the genuine, legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people. And so removing them from being a threat and an influence is good for both Palestinian peoples in Gaza as well as for Jewish peoples across Israel.
OK. Simon Birmingham, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.